Hello, everybody, and welcome to Poetry in Brief. Poetry in Brief this month is co-hosted with Moss Puppy Magazine, and EIC Melissa Martini Morales is here with us today to co-host, and she also brought somebody who helps her out with the magazine, Taro Williams. So welcome, Melissa and Taro.
Hi, how are you all doing?
Okay, so Melissa, we'll start with you. Oh, and our theme is the moon. So this is a themed invited reader series. Of course, it's open to the public for everyone to attend. Melissa, tell us a little bit about your magazine and why the theme like moon appealed to you.
So, my name is Melissa Martini Morales. I am the editor in chief of Moss Puppy Magazine. We are a biannual themed literary magazine, so we publish 2 issues per year with a theme. Our next theme is our connection to the moon. So, for issue 11, our theme is going to be Wild Wishes, which ties into, the moon, shooting stars, the celestial imagery. So, I'm really looking forward to that submission period. We're going to open January 1st, 2027 for that.
Yay! Plenty of time to get our moon poems ready. Wonderful. Okay, and tell me a little bit how you started your magazine, how long it's been running.
So we have been around since 2021. I actually started Moss Puppy spontaneously right after I quit my full-time job and I wanted to get back into the lit mag world, so started Moss Puppy and here we are.
Wonderful, great. And you're joining me on my what started as a reading series, Poetry and Brief, which I started so that I didn't have to read, but so that I could still connect to the community. This is actually the reason I founded this, Sandra knows. And then I since then have started Poetry and Brief, the magazine, because I wanted to provide a platform for all of those who have accepted my invitation to read here with us each month. And so that was like a new adventure. And I saw, some of the great things that like Melissa, I was on one of your covers with some of my photography as one of my first photography pieces that I published. So I was looking and I was like, yeah, this is amazing. I was like, maybe I can do this too. And so I decided to go for it. And it's been a really great adventure. Wonderful. Okay, we're going to have a very exciting starting reader. Our starting reader is Taro, and Melissa will introduce him.
So Taro is a writer from Toronto and has been a poetry reader for Moss Puppy since 2024. He was published in issue number 7 and then started reading for us for issue 8. He's also been published in the Hemlock Journal, Squid Magazine, Manic World Magazine, and many more.
Thank you, Rachel and Melissa. That was great. I guess I'll start talking about the moon. Um, so my main astrological sign is Taurus, but my moon sign is Aquarius, and that's something I've always been very insecure about because in some forms of astrology, the moon represents the unconscious. It's the shadow, so you're not as aware of it as you are with your sun sign, right? And Aquarius is air sign, so sometimes I get kind of airy. And this series of so the poetry I've been working on recently has had to do with trying to make sense of that Aquarius Aries subconscious shadow work that I think we all kind of deal with to various degrees, but I have my moments where I feel like I deal with it a lot more. I have a quote from a writer named Sarah Kane who I really like, so I want to start off with that. It is myself I have never met, whose face is plastered on the underside of my mind. And here's the very short poem I would like to share with you right now. It's called Advil. Sorry, a poem for Advil. Red circle like a harvest moon, only small, always rising, never falling. A bold cherry red that flirts and seduces me, so tiny that I can rest it on the tip of my thumb with ease. And I'm just going to briefly share an I'm sorry, of a larger thing I'm working on. First time I got high, I grew angel wings. My head also grew 3 inches longer, all from loud. I didn't believe in astrology or the cosmos until I moved to Montreal, seeing university students studying Alice Bailey's manifesto. In the back of a dorm room, candle lit with beeswax from the Levant, I whisper a spell, casting out the purple blood in my veins. So it became a hermetic tradition to leave this physical world behind, do drugs, go clinically insane, whatever helps you speak to God's messengers. First, first breathe in the good smoke. Leave your apartment on Rue Saint Dominique in ruins. Kiss your best friend softly and practice witchcraft in nature. Naked, crying with moonlight joy. Thank you all so much. I look forward to hearing all the other readers this afternoon.
Wonderful. That's what I love about this series is if you would have told me that you were going to share a poem about Advil sort of as the moon, I would be like, no. What an interesting take. I love that. Fabulous. And the second one about, ethereal and witchcraft, I think is one that a lot of poets associate with the moon. So wonderful. So you talked to us a
Thank you
little bit
so much.
already, but is there anything you want to add about your connection with the moon?
Um, like I said, for me, the moon really does represent the unconscious, which kind of makes it difficult to think so literally about the moon. But that's the beauty about poetry, right? Because poetry allows us to speak in metaphors and abstractions. And that's how I connect with my shadow, the part of me that I don't fully understand. And I don't think I ever will fully understand. And, the moon, it waxes and it wanes and it does all these. And, I do think some people are just more connected with that energy and understand it very clearly and explicitly. And I am not one of those people. So whenever people ask me about like my vibe or my affect or my emotional state, I always have to pause and I always have to really reflect to really try to get what the moon is doing to me. And that is both a weakness, but it also is a strength that really does inspire and give inspiration to my writing and my artwork.
Lovely. I love all of those ideas, the
Thank you
connections.
so much. This is a great.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for opening our reading. Our next invited reader is Alicia Boney. Alicia basically is living the dream, or at least how I see it. She owns a bookstore, an independent bookstore on a lake. I mean, come on. That's
Yeah.
what we all want. And you have two daughters, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which you're raising to combat the patriarchy. Wonderful. I've seen you out there. Great. You're a
Yes.
children's book author, entrepreneur, speaker. I see you're doing some events soon.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a book of poetry. This is your first book of poetry, right?
Yes.
The
Yes.
Lake Remains with Kelsey Books, which is out now. So
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. Great.
Yeah.
And you're getting your MFA?
Yes. In my spare time.
Yes. The
Yes.
abundance. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I mean, this bio just reads like, my little Belle fantasies from childhood, what I'd love. Wonderful. Well, welcome, and we're excited to hear what you have to say about the moon. Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you for putting this on and inviting me. It's really lovely way to spend a Saturday at noon. So at least from where I am. So I have a few poems. The first one I wrote a while ago, and it was around fall Halloween time. So I'll share that one first. It's called Moon Power. Change me, change me. You, in your enormity, can do that, right? I howl. Oh, my neck splinters to look at you. We're in purgatory down here, and the right moon sees it all. And so that's the first one. Little kind of ode to like wolves in the moonlight and around Halloween. And then the next one I wrote more recently, we have had some stuff going on in our town we had a big storm come through it. We had some tragedy from it. And so Taro was talking about moods and the moon and all that sort of thing. And I totally relate. Like, I feel like the moon sees all, and my emotions definitely like stem from what is going on in the world and with the planets and the moon and all that. So anyway, this one's called Moon Tears. Have you ever seen the moon weep? I have. Tears of aluminum, wet crust. You won't find much gold here, only dead volcanoes and dust. I don't know if it makes noise when it cries. I try not to listen too closely. I'd imagine a sad moon sounds like a rabbit dying. Instead, I look up, watch, tears fall from the sky, and I too weep with the moon. So that's what I have. Short and simple.
Wonderful. I love that connection of you. When I write about the moon, I also almost always say you, which I'm
Yeah.
not sure why that is, you know?
Yeah. Ooh, sorry, loud plane going over.
Okay. And then I'm really into the anti-vilification of the wolf, which is like maybe a weird thing to be into.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed that first poem as well. Yeah, with that
Thank
tie-in
you.
of the wolf.
Thank you.
So tell us about your connection to the moon.
Well, I definitely have like moods depending on what the moon is doing. And I feel like my children do as well. Like, I'll literally be like, oh, that's what's happening with the moon. And that's why this is happening with us. And I celebrate like all the different types of full moons, like the strawberry harvest, wolf moon. Like, I really feel like, not that I'm necessarily in sync, but it has a pull, and there's something otherworldly there that's very special.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there are a lot of women and people who have this special connection to like nature and the moon, which I think some people refer to as witchcraft, and so bless our little partners' hearts.
Yes. Well, I I like to think I'm a witch in some ways. I love it. It's like it's not a bad thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, how can we best support you? Because you have a book out. What would you like people to do? Buy this book, leave reviews for this book.
Yeah. So my website is aliciabomi.com, where all my books are listed, and I love bookshop.org. You can support independent booksellers on there. My bookstore is called Lakeside Books in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. We carry some of Rachel's work. And if you buy through bookshop.org, you can select Lakeside Books as your bookseller. And then my book is called The Lake Remains. So thank you in advance.
Okay, so the best way because there's always a best way to get somebody's work, order it through bookshop.org and then select Lakeside Books in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Or if you have another bookseller, indie bookseller that is close to your heart, select them. I mean, yeah, it's all about supporting the independent bookstores wherever you are.
Great. Thanks, Alicia.
Thank you.
Melissa will introduce our next reader.
All right. Next up, we have Leia. Leia is a Southern lesbian writer and artist who was featured in issue 5 of Moss Puppy. She currently teaches Saturday writing school at Pratt and hybrid genre writing classes through her online school, Lycanthrope Academy. They have won and been nominated for multiple awards, and their debut poetry collection, Venus in Transit, will be out with Red Hen Press in spring of 2027.
Hi, thank you for that lovely intro. I'm so excited to be here. I love the moon so much. That I mean, I could talk about it all day. I am a member of the Crowded Moon Coven in New York, which is a bunch of queer witches that gather. We try to gather every new moon and full moon, but like schedules are crazy. Um, and yeah, I'm so excited to be here. And Moss Puppy was one of the first magazines that I feel like really saw my work, and and um, definitely it was a big deal for me to like have a poem that meant so much to me at the time and is now like a central part of my book that's coming out next year in June. It's called Venus in Transit. Just all, night sky, everything. Um, and yeah, so I'm just really excited to be here. And I'll read that one poem. It's a bit of a longer one. So since it's poetry and brief, I'm just going to read the one that was published in Moss Puppy, which is called Buck Moon, which is also this month. July is the Buck Moon. It's on the 29th, if you want to keep up with that. A very transformative month. Okay, so this is Buck Moon. 1. Tonight is the buck moon, a slick slap of a July supermoon, named after the time of year when the boy deer get their antlers. Like when the boys grow their hair long and the girls get buzz cuts while the femmes perfect our updos. I'd like to grow a pair of antlers in my curls. I'd like to grow back in the spots you sawed off. I'd like to be the spirit of something that avenges all the wronged women and angry fauna. But while the sun still sears, I'll settle for a dusk walk with Emmylou in my ears. Tonight is the buck moon, and my healing's gone awry, mangled as old oak roots. My memory, mossy green, soaks the understory, a clear rush of creek bed slick. Maybe all that dead and dead weight crawled into compost. Maybe it's getting greener in me after all. 2. When I met you, you were the clear, wide sky, willful, winsome. Then you made passion possession, twisted to obsession, bellies overfull on the weary warring from wretched to righteous. And me laying on the kitchen floor, too weary to fight. You said I'll do better, keep you closer, and I bit into your promises like something starved and gulping. Someone told me love is an avoidable horror, yet I doubt they ever saw a butch grin with that many devils curling out the mouth. It's crystalline as heaven, bluer too, sharp, beckoning. Even now, sad and skittish, I can't say I know how not to be seduced by the selenite sweet of you. I'd bet you'd pour my venison heart out on the griddle, fry my dough eyes in bacon grease. You drink bone broth on over 100-degree day, and that loaded rifle smile points right at me, bullets in the mouth like be happy or else. Whitetail, caribou, elk. No, I can't outrun the memory of your hands around my throat all last summer, every moonset and morning. The hunter's manual sears through my mind. A well-placed lung shot will cause the deer to suffocate to death. The sheen on your lips, the oily gristle of the meat. A heart shot is lethal, but may not provide the best blood trails to reap your prize. I smell the hooves beating toward earth and smell the trail of blood. Heart shot. You tell me you hate me. You tell me you hate being without me more than you hate loving me, which is the strongest love there is. You say, you're such a lucky girl, honestly, to be loved so much. Rotting out in the forest, I bet I'd make friends with the crows and the maggots. Spruce, fir, hemlock, and pine. Alive, alive, reaching. You'd mount me on the mantle just to keep me here if you could. 3. I pull my go bag from the coat closet while you sleep. Old juniper hiking boots, extra batteries for the flashlight, compass, old map. I find my way to the forest through the juniper and that same spruce, guided by summer's pearl, cresting east in the cloudlets, to the clearing where the buck, moose, elk all gather. I see the others there with their batteries and their backpacks. A wet nose to the palm, my old friend finds me, and I run my fingers over the antlers, press my forehead to the soft russet hair. I swing my leg over the back, and we all set off, dozens riding deep into the heavy green, hundreds of miles away from human maw and into munificent mountains. My marrow begins to shift, and I dismount, yank the locket gifted by the hunter's grift, drop it to the dirt, and crush it with my hoof. I slip my dress down my shoulders, watch my flesh go raw to russet, feel my bone and muscle bend, break, reshape, and the owls, peregrine, boar, and bears all wake up to watch. That's the poem. Thank you.
Beautiful. I'm glad
Thanks.
we got to see a deer in play. I feel like
Yes,
deer and the moon go
always.
nicely together.
Yeah.
On a personal note, I write about myself being eaten a lot as well, and I'm never sure when I
Yeah.
submit it, when I submit it to magazines, do I need to put like content warning, cannibalism, or
I mean, I think that like at some point, like hunger, it's just like it's right there. It's in all of us, you know. I think it not only admitting that you're in tune with your, ravenous desires, but also, willing to commune with them and your art. I mean, I think I don't want a content warning. I want like a bullhorn. Like I want like I want to be able to find you faster.
well said, well said. Can you add anything about your connection with the moon? And then also tell us how to best support you right now as you prepare for your book launch.
Yeah, I am looking for places to be on my book tour. Whether that's my wife lives in North Carolina right now, so that's where I am right now. So I'll be in North Carolina, New York, Florida, and Georgia, probably LA, because my book's coming out with the Red Hen Press, which is in California, so I'll go over there. But if you guys know of any great bookstores in those cities or in your own cities who'd be willing to have, you know, me or we could do like a dual reading. Like I would love to like meet up with one of y'all and like both have a reading and then maybe we could like interview each other after or something. I don't know. I'm all about like building more community and just the more poets the merrier always. So yeah, that would be great. Um and then um yeah, I love the moon. And this is the deer month for it's the buck moon on the 29th, like I said. So gather with your community and celebrate, the frolicking.
Wonderful. I love it. I love all the connection to community, because I think that's what it's all about.
That's everything, especially now.
Our next reader is Linda M. Crate. And basically, I just stalk Linda a lot. And she's all over the internet. I see her all the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to finally talk to her. And what caught my interest was that we've been in a couple of the same magazines together. So I read your work. And then you just release a chapbook about the moon, right?
So,
Yeah,
yes,
we hear you now.
yes, I did. Yeah, it's called Crescent Moon. It's through very Corpus Publishing, but yeah,
Great, wonderful. I really look forward to reading that. But you also have, is it 17 other chapbooks?
yes.
Okay,
I
so you're
I
busy
am
little
a
bee.
perfectionist writing. I'm a little, yeah, I am very busy. I like to keep myself busy. Sometimes I think it's like I like to prefer to intellectualize my feelings rather than feel them, and I'm like trying to give myself space to be like, it's okay to feel things, go through them. I don't know. I was like taught like, showing emotions are weak, so I'm trying to like unlearn that.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Like, writing's how I express how I feel about things. I'm like, it might be okay to just feel things sometimes rather than just to bottle it all up.
yeah, that totally resonates because I kind of came to writing for therapy. And so I
Mhm.
also have maybe 20 books worth of poems that I've just written in 3 years. They're not out there in the world, but I think when you start examining your life, this can kind of happen.
Yeah,
Okay, Linda, we're very excited to hear you read to us about the moon.
thank you. My first poem is from a collection called Progress, Not Perfection, and they were looking about queer poems. And I don't know, I've always seen the moon as a woman, and I was like, I feel like if she were a woman, she would be a bi woman or a lesbian. I don't know, but that's how I've always felt about the moon. The first poem is called "Pride is the Moon." Always there, but not always seen. Goes through different phases, even varies in different people. Sometimes shines brightly through the window at night. Other times is a bit quiet and hides behind the clouds. Yet it never goes away. Pride is the moon, kind and full of truth and secrets, dripping behind the clouds of mysterious skies. But her love has always been softer, more honest, more passionate and more intense than any song of sun against my flesh. Thank you. And I'm going to read one of my poems from Crescent Moon. Sorry, I'm not a little more prepared there, but I will. Okay, this is called Monster Like Me. I've been told I'm intimidating and intense, that I'm too much. But if I'm so overwhelming, feel free to find less. Done swallowing myself to appease others around me so they can be comfortable. Be uncomfortable. You cannot ask you cannot ask a star to be anything less than light. Yet you would still rip apart my rainbow heart to force it to be something you can understand if I let you. But I won't let you. Not any longer. I am fond of my colors and my light, even if they are beyond your comprehension. I have met many monsters and have tried to appease them. But if you're a monster like them, then you will have to meet a monster like me. For far too long I forgot my own fangs and claws. But I remember them now, and I will destroy any nightmare that comes from me or my magic. My dreams, my heart, my soul matter, and they make sense in the language in which they were written. You cannot fathom their depths, and perhaps it's because you're more comfortable in the shallows. But it doesn't make me wrong for being who I am. My silence has never saved me, so I'm going to be loud. If you don't like my crescent moon body in a square world, I don't think I care any longer. It would have bothered me and ate away at me in the past. I have finally accepted and learned to love myself. I do not care if you do not love me. I love me, and that is something I never knew could happen.
Bad start, but very powerful ending. Yes.
Yeah.
I was a little teary at the beginning. Wonderful, Linda. Wonderful.
Thank you.
And tell us how we can best support you now, and also a little bit more about your connection to the moon and maybe like why you wrote this whole book titled Crescent.
My connection to the moon is I'm a Cancer. If you know anything about the zodiac, Cancer is the one that is ruled by the moon. Everything that they say about Scorpio really is Cancer. That's what annoys me the most, because people don't understand Cancers. They're like, oh, they're emotional crybabies. I was like, listen, sometimes when I'm crying, it's because I want to murder you and I can't. Like, it's not like, I'm like this sad little girl. Like, no. I think most people misunderstand it. It's Cancers are emotionally in tuned. If they're, if they're a mature Cancer that has like come into their own, like we are emotionally intelligent. I can read a room. I can always sense like if there's somebody like I can't trust. Like I'm very good at that. Like I'm very good. I'm like, the vibes are off, so I'm gonna go now. you know. And I don't know. The best way to like support me, I think, would be at this point like reviews. If you read my work, you enjoyed my work, I'd really appreciate the reviews, the feedback. I don't know. I've always felt connected to the moon. I feel like the moon is very misunderstood. I feel like sometimes I am too. So when I was little, we would be driving. I always felt like the moon was following me in the car. I don't think I'm the only kid that did this, but yes, I always thought, oh, the moon's following me. I don't know. The moon's just always been there, and I've always loved her. And yeah, I say her. I don't know. For some reason, it makes me very angry when people talk about the moon. They're like him. Like, no, the moon is a woman. The moon is a woman. I don't know why, but I'm very adamant. The moon is a woman.
Yes, so much of what you said resonated for sure. I want to tell you a short little story about why I chose the moon as an idea. I came across this and I hadn't heard about it. Maybe some of you are more informed, but the Artemis program with NASA. Has anybody heard about this? Okay, so this program in 2027 is aimed to put a woman and a person of color on the moon. And then their eventual goal, which I'm sure I don't understand the science of, but they want to use ice from the moon to create breathable air and eventually create a place for people to live. This is a real NASA project. And I think it's really interesting that Artemis is the goddess protector of young women and young girls. And so it's interesting that they've called us this. So I've been working on some pieces envisioning this planet, or well, this moon, where girls are safe and protected and there are no pedophiles. Okay, anyway, that's a sidetrack. Our final reader is Shara Hammond. And well, we've been talking a little bit about this, but when I first, came across your work, it was through Maps of Injury. So I learned a lot about, your personal life and some of the things that you've been through. That's a beautiful collection. And then now you have a new book called Birds of America, which is with Dial. So I don't know if you want me to say this or not, but you've broken into the big five, which I think is super amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. I still don't know how that happened.
That's incredible. And then like I saw you were in People Magazine and all these things. So you're really out there doing it and just inspirational to keep going and keep putting your work out there and that, these huge dreams are a possibility. And so tell us a little bit about Birds of America before we start our reading.
So I didn't write poetry for like 2 years because I got laid off during the pandemic in a really bad way from the university where I was working, and I was just so burned out. Anytime I would think about writing poetry, it like made me feel sick. And then I finally realized like they took that away from me and I shouldn't have let them. And I didn't care about publishing anymore or trying to get into the big journals and all the stuff that I'd cared about before. I just wanted to write something that mattered to me and that was honest. And that was a story I'd been carrying around with me since 2008. What happened was my first husband went to work and found his coworker bleeding to death in a parking lot at work. And it was later ruled to be a homicide. And the consequences of that day changed my entire life. So I thought about like how violence spreads in surprising ways and like really far, like way farther than you would ever think a one single act of violence would go. So I wrote that book to answer that question, like, how do you live in a world where you're surrounded by violence? It's founded on violence. It's all around us. How do you stay yourself in a world like that and keep your heart tender?
Oh, so this is about more than birds. I see.
It is. It's told in the language of birds, but that is the catalyst for the book. Yeah.
Okay. I love that. Good. Timely. Excellent. And please share your poems with us about them.
I would love to. So this one is actually from my book Salvage List, which came out in 2025. And I had gotten a diagnosis of a connective tissue disease. And I was also, this was whenever like the pandemic was first starting, and I still had my job then, but I was at home working. And I started doing my genealogy because my mom was born in foster care or was raised in foster care, and nobody had ever traced it before. And whenever I did the genealogy, it went straight back on her side to Rebecca Nurse, who was hanged at Salem for being a witch. So that's where this book came from. This poem is called The Moon of a Moon is a Moon Moon. And I wrote it after reading an article about how scientists had decided to name the moon of a moon moon moons. This is the algebra of language, word math. Try it. An ebb and flow of sweetness, honeymoon. Childhood, the head covering of someone who is still discovering what to forget. The friend of my friend is my friend. Sorry, bad example. The second friend is silent. There but not there. Something implied, imagined. Like how I once told students, kill your darlings, but don't bury them. And somehow they knew that what I meant is that redundancy can be as efficient as resurrection. Though there was no real danger, we killed nothing. When the moon appears in a lake, it means that it has dropped low enough for you to wade into, if you want. The moon is blank as a mirror. It doesn't mind if you reflect in its reflection. Foreshadowing, darkness that walks in front of you. Slumlord, the god of not enough. If you are male, you are man, you are he. I am fee, I am woe, I am s. The plural and the possessive, the hiss of air escaping from a tire, tired. Think about this. The enemy of my friend could still be my friend, but probably isn't. Is there any better way to say that one can orbit a body that orbits another body? That gravity ties us to each other, and that other bodies orbit us? No, it seems we have finally run out of words. Removing the spaces between them is the only way to make something new. I am the daughter of my father. I am the daughter of my mother, too. Thank you.
Beautiful. You mentioned, burning witches, and I'm really into, precise use of language and how it can really change society. And I saw something recently that says we should stop saying this. We should start saying burning women.
Yes.
Yeah, and I really liked that. So I thought about that when you said that. Tell us about your special connection to the moon.
Well, I feel like for me, it's like an anchor and a translator. So it's the first thing I look at when I go outside at night. It's the first thing I look for. It feels benevolent and warm and tied to the same rhythms I'm tied to. And it translates the sun, which is harsh, but it makes it something that we can look at. So I really love the moon, and thank you so much for having me here to talk about it.
I love that. Translator. Yes, wonderful. I'm also recovering higher ed professor. I shan't be going there again.
Yeah.
So I feel you on that. And best way to support you, buy Birds of America?
Yes, please.
Yes, please, she said. Okay.
Yeah. We were displaced by a fire about 3 weeks before the book came out when I was supposed to be doing all this work. And so everything fell through. So yes, I would love that. Thank you.
Wonderful. We will do so. And if we can't do so, we'll request it at our library, which is also a great way to support without spending your own dime.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. I do want to talk, Clarabelle, are you able to come on? This is somebody I've never met before, but I believe Clarabelle is the EIC of a magazine in Boulder. So I don't know if you're there, if you wanted to talk about your magazine at all. Might not be able to talk. Oh.
Yes, hello. So I'm actually out at a park, so I'm not going to turn my camera on. It's a little impromptu, but hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes, well, thank you so much for putting this on. This has been great. I've been loving hearing everybody's work, and I always get excited for anything celestial and space related. But yes, so I'm the editor of Carmina magazine. I've been running the magazine since I think when did I start? It was right out of college, I think 2019. And so Carmina is for anything that is myth or ancestral or history related. So I'm always happy to see poems about the moon and the stars and celestial bodies. And, there's so much of human spirituality and memory, I think, wrapped up in the stories about the night sky. So all mythology is welcome. All myths, fables, folklore. Always happy to see what people are working on.
Great. And you're open right now for submissions, right?
Yes. So we don't really have strict submission periods. I'm kind of it's on a rolling basis. I have some loose deadlines-ish. It's really related to how quickly I can get people's work folded into the new issue. So we've got our usual September issue. We publish twice a year, so in September and in March. So September is coming up. I'd say try to get stuff in around by mid-September, and that'll give me time to get it together for the late September release. We also have a new thing I've been doing, are special themed mini issues. So this is our first one coming up. It's loosely for Halloween, but I have just titled it Monsters and Cryptids, and it's just kind of whatever is creepy. So stuff about werewolves or stuff about lycanthropy or witches. The moon could absolutely be a feature there too. So I'm looking forward to that one and seeing what people come up with for that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. And I do hope we get to meet in person sometime soon because you're just 30 minutes from me.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I'm from Boulder originally, and I do travel there often. I actually live in the Midwest at the moment.
Okay. So it was not 30 minutes from me then.
But I do go out there. I have family in the Denver area still, so maybe we could plan something. That would be great.
Yay. One day we'll make it happen. Good.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Clarabelle.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say a special thank you to Melissa and Taro for being here from Moss Puppy Magazine. I'll let you say any closing words you'd like and how to best support your magazine and you.
Thank you so much for everything, for having us. The best way to support Moss Puppy is reading our issues, promoting our subcalls when we open for submissions in January. And we also have a coloring book collab coming out at the end of the month. So I'll share more about that when it's released. Yeah.
Okay, great. And your next call will open in the new year.
Yeah.
Yeah, in January. Great. Thank you so much. I have 2 books out, and what I'm really looking to do this summer, it's called my Summer of Reviews. You can follow along on TurneyTalks.com. And what I'd really like to do is exchange digital ARC copies with people so that I can review your book and you can review my book in whatever capacity, Goodreads, if you have extra time trying to submit it to lit magazines. So reach out to me. All my contact information is on my website, TurneyTalks.com. And if you'd like to stay in the next hour, we're doing our Poetry in Brief launch of the first issue of the magazine. Thank you to all of our readers for being here. I'm going to stop the recording soon, but you're welcome to stay on and chat off the record.